Anyways.
I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about your daddy.
Shut up, man.
Well, let's talk about my mammy.
No.
All right, well, thank you, Lord. What's he say?
Greetings. Once again, we back. Y'all know what it is. Well. Optimal health as well.
We have a lot of gratitude this morning. I'm on first state. I'm grateful for my wife, for our communication has improved so much so that opportunities are opening up for us in magnificent ways. You know, it's like, and we just want to tell the Creator thank you.
Thank you. And so this is the day that the Lord has made.
And Christopher Columbus is glad he's in it.
The day after the casting of votings yesterday for the elections of 2024. And, you know, I know it's probably a lot of mixed emotions and feelings and, you know, political views and aspects.
Go ahead.
We appreciate anybody that tune in.
Yeah,
your support. You know, attention is the highest currency right now. So, and attention span is the lowest vibration. So, we in the building. You know, you know, I'm a Grammy contender,
and a communications major,
best rap performance,
and a communications
major, So, we're appreciative of this day, 11/6/2024. Yes, post-election day. And how you feel?
Oh man, I don't know. I like talking about that. I ain't talking about the election or politics and like that.
I know, but it's in the now.
I'm just grateful that certain things, like if I'm gonna look at it policy wise, certain policies were defeated in the election. Like one of them was the abortion. You know, what would be called the abortion? Well, let's give the right word to it because it's critical.
Well, here's the thing. Abortion has been a long-term issue when it comes to policies and politics and election season. Abortion, right along with health care, right along with inflation. I mean, for me, in my existence of being on this journey called life, it's always been the same issues. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, pretty much when it comes down to it. And here's the thing, like
historically.
Now, you know, I'm gonna go somewhere else with it. Like, how many has it been? How many abortions has it been since they legalized it? And it's like in the tens of millions, if not more. You know, we're gonna keep it real. So why would any place invite the ability to have free sex, but then not be willing to be responsible for the children that come, and they make it a personal issue, but a political debate. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they trap you in, we're free in America, so we can do what we want to do. But then, why do they make it so easy for that, for instance? And for me, it's like they want those sacrifices. Those are sacrifices. They're not, I'm sorry, baby, but they're not just a medical decision to me. And
when we talk about this, you know, as far as all the women out there, I know this could be a sensitive topic as far as, you know, abortion. So we're not here to condemn.
Yeah, but for real, it's really atonement and delivery. It's really like freedom, like for real. That's why God have us talking about it.
But with the high rate of sex trafficking and, you know, children abduction and all this kind of stuff.
Then it would only be logical.
It does raise suspicion.
That those were used in ceremonial, like the abortion situations of ceremonial witchcraft. It's like putting a spell on people, because what it does is it says, okay, go do you, and you don't have to have no consequences. And then because we allow that to go down for so long, now we got our teenagers, young men and women trying to make decisions about changing their whole anatomy. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't say no a long time ago. And it's like we didn't say, I didn't say no, you know, a long time ago. I'm guilty too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not innocent of this. I have not walked a life that led me not to have to be in that situation. So I can relate from a male's perspective, but not a female's. But overall, it was about trying to destroy our families, or not even allowing us to have a family, like dissuading us from having families. Because do you know, I would say, I'm going to be honest, that most people, when they got together and had a baby and then they decided to have an abortion, maybe, I'm going to say majority of those people, if they didn't have that option, they probably would have ended up getting married to that person.
Well, that's how it used to be back in the day. Back in the day, you know, our grandparents, a lot of them, and even parents, they got married at a much earlier age than, you know, how we do it today.
Yeah, we can say whatever we want.
And a lot of people back then, let me just say this, they got married because they did have children, or a child was on the way, or they were having relations.
And what I was going to say is that's not always a bad thing, though. Because, see, from my experiences, most of those situations were bad. Like, they got married because they had to. So they wound up disrespecting each other and stuff. But then again, what would you rather have? An opportunity to have a family, or go at it alone, or have an abortion and then don't never be able to have children? You know, it's too many consequences. For me, I would say I would rather have a learned experience in a family with a husband, with a wife, with the children. If it didn't work out, I'd rather have that option than option B.
And speaking of option B, you know, there's a lot of factors that contribute to the issues of abortions, or, you know, until you get to that point, like Plan B. And Planned Parenthood. And
yeah, it's crazy.
You know,
but I'm saying though, it's a spell. Like, go ahead, baby. I'm gonna worry what you gotta say. But it's a spell.
But I'm like, as far as what you were saying, as far as saying no a long time ago, you know what I'm saying? Those things are at play, you know, before you even get to the abortion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of the attention and a lot of the conversation should be prevention.
Yeah,
it should be proactive.
And they use rhetoric.
Measurements.
And the politicians use rhetoric to muddy the water. And like I was talking with my wife earlier, we was talking about, like, I was admitting something. I was saying that my mom told me when I was young, yeah, you might be real smart, but you ain't got no common sense. And I took that personal when I was young, but she was kind of actually right, because at one point in my life, and in several points in my life, I always said, okay, I'm not going to do this no more, but it's still allowed in my mind I could do these things. Like hustle, let's say hustling. Let's use hustling, for example. Mm-hmm. Like when I stopped selling, you know, to get money, when I stopped doing that, in my mind, I said, okay, well, now you can sell this. Now you can do these things, which still allow me to do me.
The mentality.
Yeah, and it's still allowing me to do me. And let's relate that to the situation with the political abortion debate. Let's call it that, because it's really a personal decision. And really what we're saying is, let's get to the root of it and make a decision based out of you loving yourself. And then, you know, hopefully you won't end up in those situations. That's what we're promoting.
I was telling my husband the other day that I think that whenever a couple or a woman or whoever is faced with the decision for abortion, on whether or not they feel like they should have it, I think that there should be, being that it takes a village to raise a child or children, that maybe we can decrease those numbers and statistics if it was a decision that was made in council.
Yeah, with a support network.
Yeah,
with people that support you.
Of both sides of parties, family members, to, you know, to see where the support is and what type of things can be done to perhaps prevent it.
You know, I know a lot of people thinking, man, it ain't gonna happen. But I do have faith that it is happening and it will happen, because we're in a new kingdom. This is a new kingdom. This is not a new government. Like, we're not moving into a new government That's the political play. The real play is that we're moving into a new kingdom, because this particular government is not in the favor of so-called unsanctioned abortions. You know, what they're in favor of is, if you make a decision, you're going to live with it. Now, there are extenuating circumstances, but there we go with the political rhetoric and money in the water, because they're trying to make a personal issue something social. You see what I'm saying? But what we're saying is that we're going to make it personal. Let's start like with me and you, how we do. Like, we holding ourselves accountable, man, so that when Amira and Toviel and our children that are still young, when they get older, they won't make these decisions. They'll make wiser decisions.
They'll learn from the mistakes of their people that
predecessors,
came before them.
Their predecessors. Okay. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And for real, it's like all of us have not set the best example. And like, today's a new day. Like, today's a new government. Supposedly today's a turn for something new. We all got a chance to do something new.
And also, some of us and a lot of us are to the defense of the goodness and just the balance. You know, some of us do set the best examples now, and nobody's perfect. So there's always room for improvement. But shout out to the parents, that are taking a look at themselves and want for the betterment of their children, So shout out to y'all. And it's not easy.
No, this is my best part. This is my favorite part about Optimal Health as well, though. Like, within doing the purpose behind it, the best part is the dialogue. You see what I'm saying? Because it promotes the ability to put things into action, rather than just talking. It's things that have to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want, the people that are actively healing and promoting family and promoting community, I don't want them to give up. You know what I mean? So I want them to be encouraged and to keep showing up as their best self every day, because that's what we do. That's what we're doing.
Christopher Columbus was up early this morning giving God the glory and thanks, because I discovered a new territory to secure and protect. But by the grace of God, man, I see how God's working and moving in me and my wife's life, man. It's pretty kind of amazing, but all it starts with is some self-work. And it's like, they call it shadow work, man, but all things come to the light. All dark things come to the light, man. So I'm grateful that we're starting to see that the truth don't hurt as bad as the truth don't hurt as bad as what you're fearful of it to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the truth, I know it's cliche, but truth actually sets you free. It really does. Especially when you are consciously being honest with yourself, because the truth starts with yourself first. It's been like a real roller coaster of emotions, and I can only imagine what everybody is going through as a whole, as far as, the times that we're living in. It's real. The emotions that we're feeling is real. The stress, the antics that's going on. This election has been a real show. I'm talking about from the campaigning to the
it's been a movie.
It has been, it really has been. The debates. So, I know they say there's nothing new under the sun, but the currency and with the evolution of technology,
it's costly. The currency is
on a
costly.
Different level.
The currency is costly, man.
Yeah,
you said that was fundamental. That was fundamental what you just said. It is. The currency is costing.
Yeah, it is. So let's talk about a different issue: healthcare. Since optimal health is wealth, right? So in my health communications class that I'm in at FAU, we've been talking, a lot about the healthcare system, and that's another big topic that's always on the stage as far as when it comes to election season and politics. And in my class, we were talking about how a lot of people has lost hope in the healthcare system due to big pharma and corporations and capitalism. And, I knew that those things existed as far as it comes to health insurance in the healthcare system. I'm really learning to, the magnitude that it exists and how, pharmaceutical drugs and diagnoses and, how it elevates capitalism and how
that's all it is. That's all it is.
Certain people's lives are takes more priority and some people don't. We've seen that with COVID. All the old people, they like, we don't got ventilators for y'all. It's not funny. I'm not laughing because I believe it's funny. I'm laughing because you know how they say sometimes you laugh to keep from crying?
Yeah, it's sad because, let me say it's sad because if you keep it real, it's like, look, these people paid insurance policies.
Man, they paid into the system.
For 50, 60 years, man. And ain't no way if they needed a ventilator, they shouldn't have one on deck. That don't even make sense.
Now, I'm not saying that the elderly should come before the children because the children are the future. But
all life's important.
But yeah, every life matters. Not just black lives. Every life matters.
And in the situation of an elderly person, if they needed a ventilator, they have paid enough insurance over the years to cover the ventilator.
And just imagine how many people got sick just from, I'm talking about the elderly, specifically, just from dealing with the stress of it all. Yeah, that's a lot to say, okay.
To alienate them, to take them and say, okay, don't nobody go around them because you could get them sick and they could die because there ain't enough ventilators. And you saying somebody old, they used to having people come around them, that's a death sentence.
Right.
That's a death sentence.
So that was...
It's a psychological play on their health. They wanted... Okay, let's just say this. Let's just say that it wasn't even what they said it was because didn't know more people pass away than what regularly pass away from the flu and stuff like that. Let's just say that hypothetically there was a placebo, like they threw it out there because they would get more out of it than if it was an actual pandemic. And then another thing I was thinking before I moved for, say I gotta go take care of our son. But look, like another thing I was thinking about, babe, is like, if you was 50 or 60 years old, you paid your insurance for how many years? You probably paid at least $2,000 a year, $2,000 a year, maybe. What's that? What's 2,000 times 60? You know what I'm saying? That's a ventilator.
So, and
you was talking about how the healthcare system.
Yeah, the healthcare system, like people are really, like literally losing hope in the healthcare center and in the healthcare system. But the thing about it is, it's like if these people are paying into the system, right, and it's Social Security and retirement and all these things. And then only for, us to, when it was pandemic, to be told that they're not important, that basically their lives don't matter when it comes to, resources and the limited thereof. That's got to be a hard pill to swallow. And I'm looking at it for what it's worth. Because one day, I will be an elder, so that was kind of harsh. And, I would have to say that have worked in the healthcare industry, right? And being in that environment and taking care of the elderly, it's like, where is the compassion? Where are the codes of ethics when it comes to this issue? Like, why are we in this predicament that we have to I don't even know. Sometimes I get a little lost for words because I be in my emotions about things. I'm so passionate about these issues, but I'm just thankful to have a platform to be able to have dialogue and to be able to have conversations amongst my community about these things. And it's very healing for me and my family. And we're just appreciative to have woke up this morning and to be amongst the land of the living, to be healthy, to still have opportunities to show up as our best self each day. That's important. It's critical for us to grow. And I feel like a big part of growth is communications. And filtering through these emotions and to be able to have effective communication. With that being said, I'm kind of rambling, but this is my husband's idea to get on here today. I was kind of reluctant about it. A lot of people don't know, but sometimes it'd be hard for me to get on here, especially carrying out and being caught up in my daily activities of living in the circle of life. It'd be hard to get on here. Like, I have to really humble myself sometimes because I just be feeling like in the midst of fulfilling my purpose, words are very binding, and sometimes, they can be taken out of context, or sometimes, it's just like a lot of spelling, and I'm just so real and raw that I be feeling like maybe I might say the wrong thing or I might offend the wrong person, and that's really not my intentions. My intentions is to honestly promote optimal health as well, and to raise awareness and to be able to communicate effectively and to heal, to be active in the healing process. And I know the stress level has been really high, especially in America. I can't really speak for outside regions and countries and stuff, but I can definitely share my experience of how overwhelming things can be at times. But nevertheless, your girl is here. I'm still living in my purpose, still honoring God, and being a child of God, So I feel like as long as I have those things, and as long as, I continue my journey of righteousness, that there's protection in that. So, I would challenge you, anybody out there who might be losing hope in the system as a whole, to keep the faith and to know that as long as we're in His hands that everything is going to be okay. So my hope is not lost in the system. My hope is lost in some of the people who take high positions in the system who are not for the betterment of the good of the people. And, right, so conflict is inevitable. I think that, matter of fact, I know that conflict is always gonna be at play at some point in time, at least every now and then. But how we work through it is important. And I'm thankful for my interpersonal communications class, because we've been talking a lot about conflict and how to work through it with not necessarily having to compromise, but in collaboration. And so, yeah, I'm learning a lot in this season, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to share, my experiences along this journey. And so I just wanted to get on here to say, be encouraged, no matter who you voted for or what you're going through or what challenges you may be facing. Just be encouraged and know that you're not the only one. And just keep the faith. And it's never a downplay. It should never be frowned upon for anybody out there who is asking for help or seeking for help or maybe in a vulnerable state. I think it's heroic, and I think it takes courage to say, hey, I need help. So I always say, look for your help in your local communities and be encouraged. But give me one moment and I'll be right back. I apologize. Family calls. Hold on.